Hello Tarot fans, welcome to another edition of Blue Sicx Tarot. I'm your fantastic host Blue Sicx. Thank you very much for watching. Now it's been a while since my last video, and so I thought I'd decide to do a video about a deck of Oracle cards. Don't tend to do Oracle that much. I do prefer Tarot, but these ones are pretty cool and funky. So why don't you follow me and we'll roll on that intro. Do like the intro. So today I'll actually be showing a deck that was sent to me by a person on TikTok, Louise S. LeFay, mutual follower rather, on TikTok, on my second account, the Book of Job, on TikTok. Anyway, and sent me this lovely deck, the Publishing Goblin Oracle dice. Now, this does come with a set of dice, with various sets. So functionally, for every card there is a die, and all of them are 6-sided, barring one, which I believe is 12-sided. But we're not going to go and look at the dice. We're just going to take a look at the cards. So the box itself is quite a hard back. Obviously, there is a large book that comes with it, but we won't go into the book, mostly because the book winds up just covering all of the, I said mostly the die. But I'll let you pause to read the back here. Yep. Yeah, so a nice small deck. Now, because it being 22, you'd think it basically cover a lot of the major arcana for the tarot, but they don't. There's a lot of similarities, but there's enough variety as well. So I'm just going to open the box and we'll have a quick zoom in. First we'll take a look at the back. Now the thing is, it's a nice lime green with the phases of the moon. Nice little patterns in the corner. However, the lime green I feel really conflicts with the rest of the art, themes and style of the deck. As this seems very kind of, well, very bright and very summery. But at the same time, the cards themselves are... This isn't the sort of art you'd expect to see on the back of this. Also, just a quick thing, that these spread really well, and they shuffle very smoothly as well. So we'll start with taking a look at some of the cards. So we have, for example, the first card we have the Crone of Summer, who is also on the box. And as you can see there, so this is more, not necessarily, you could kind of make the comparisons to the Sun and tarot, but she also has a kind of has a sense of abundance there, with the coins coming down at the bottom and her hands kind of holding the cane. But then that can also feels like comes across like a flower as well. So once again, celebrating summer and happiness and abundance, really. So next we have the alley man. Do you see what I'm saying now? So the back does not really go with the front. So this time we've got the alley man holding a card, which is actually the last card, the unnamed card at the bottom. So this alley man has more, I would say, more feminine features. So they may just be more trans person, non-binary, something like that. But there is a nice little air of mystery. Kind of, are they on your side, are they against you, or are they just someone in it for their own interest, or are they just bored and just want to help you because boredom. So next we have the creator of selves. So I'm also looking at this upside down. I can't look at it in the lens because it's backwards, and it's also a small lens. So the creator of selves. So this has a more kind of has a Japanese demon sort of feel to it, with the style of mask there, several different heads at the bottom, nice shade of green. So with this, and also you have the serpent at the back in the background there. So this feels more like a card that represents more self-deception. Now, none of this I'm reading from the book. I've read from the book, mostly because at this point, when I do get a deck, I do just prefer to be able to read the picture myself, and if I can't, then I do. So, but yeah, so just I do quite like the deck. So you've got some very interesting sort of themes there in regards to being able to put on different faces, because you're not necessarily it's not necessarily a thing about deception, but more like putting on different faces for different people. Next we have the Knight of Judgment, and you've kind of got, you don't necessarily feel like an angel, but you have like some doves at the top here, really long sword. Now you could consider this a justice card, judgment card, vengeance card, a karma card, or a karma chameleon. I left too much of a gap for that to be a joke, so just ignore that one. But yeah, the purples are really nice, and as you can see, that the art style is very, as weird as this set feels to say, the art is very consistent throughout. None of the cards seem to kind of stand out amongst the others, but I do quite like this one. Next we have, wait a sec, the Nameless Monitor, and they seem to, so you have nice little arrows behind them, nice little spiral there, which is usually that you see in a lot of Art Nouveau, as you see through a lot of these cards. The blue is very nice, and this feels more, and this kind of has the feeling of not necessarily a trickster, but maybe someone who's behind the scenes, kind of working on their own things, seeing how these sort of things kind of play out. They may, once again, like the Alleyman, they might be doing this for themselves, they might be doing it for you, they might be doing it for someone else. So now you've got the Accuser. Now I actually posted this on TikTok, and it wound up being banned for inappropriateness, bearing in mind none of this technically breaks the rules. So yes, this is basically the devil card of the deck, but it being the Accuser has a very different theme to it. Though at the same time, you can still kind of see this as temptation, as addiction and stuff. This still just has the very standard, this feels like the devil card, but it's still pretty cool, and there's a lot of kind of anguish to it. It makes me think of what's referred to as the sexy Satan statues. If you don't know what I'm talking about, I definitely recommend you Google them. They're pretty good. Funny story as well. So next we have this lovely card, the Trickster. It's a card that I don't actually come across that much. So, so first of all, you've got a rabbit at the bottom, and those of you who have maybe have read Warship Down and stuff like that, the rabbit is kind of seen as a trickster. Mostly because you've got to consider that the rabbit has to survive, and has to survive via trickery. You've got this skeleton at the back here, and some portraits there. Not a lot going on, so this does feel like a throne. I'm sorry, rather this throne feels like it's inviting you in, but it's not. Everything doesn't look. It doesn't look as it. Nothing looks as it should be or as it seems. So kind of empty throne. You probably don't want to sit in that. So next we have the Showman, which has a very strong magician vibe. Clothes look amazing. The spotlights look pretty cool. So this is a guy who likes to put on a show. So once again, this is very big magician vibes. Are they there to entertain, to distract? Do you know their full motivation? Are they trying to put your direction in one place so they can do something in the other direction? But I do love the kind of the look towards them. They're very big, very loud, very showy. Next we have They Who Hunger. So this is very kind of nightmarish, I feel. This has the feeling of someone who is either in it for, once again, someone who's in it for themselves and will try and take as much from other people as they can, or someone who's more, for lack of a better term, self-cannibalistic, someone who someone who is maybe destroying themselves without knowing, or someone who's destroying the environment around them without them really knowing, because they're kind of stuck in this loop. Next we have the Gambler. Has a kind of, makes you think of Harley Quinn, and so the halo here is actually from the roulette wheel, and you've got the ace on their eye there. So this is someone. So when I come across this, I consider this is someone who is a risk taker, who is someone who, they'll put it all on black without necessarily thinking that they're always in the mindset that they're going to win, regardless of whether the odds are even in their favour. In fact, the bigger a challenge it is, the more likely they are to try it, more for a thrill. So they might not necessarily be someone you'd rely on. So next we have the Chancellor of Choice. Sorry. So this feels like this feels like a very close to biblically accurate angel, or it's not just like a person with wings, but something a bit more out there. A lot of runic symbols along the clothing here. A skeletal or emaciated style face, but they still have a very kind of positive look by their posture and colours. So this feels like someone's coming down to you and saying, hey, if this come up in a reading, this would feel like you're saying to someone, you have more options than you think you do. If someone feels like they're forced into a situation, it's like, well, you do have other choices. It's not just whatever it is that's stuck in your mind. Next we have the Baron of Autumn. And so, once again, this has the feeling of the Empress and the wheat. So this does feel more like the later part of the harvest, sort of as we have in the UK Harvest Festival, and it has that kind of you're reaping what you're sowing. You've reaped what you've sowed, and hopefully your plans for the winter have been covered. And it also kind of has like a humbleness to it and a gratefulness for the hard work that's been done, and for the fact that you've made it this far. That's the sort of thing I get from this. So next we have the Maiden of Winter, and so with this it feels it has that feeling of the coldness of winter and the harsh coldness of winter, but even in the harshness it's still beautiful. You still get to see crystals, you still get to see beautiful stars in the sky, because obviously as it gets dark early, you've got the beauty of the night sky, you've got the sculpture, not ice sculpture, you've got the structure of ice, you've got there's still a lot of beauty in winter that's not necessarily seen. Next we have the Publishing Goblin, and this one almost feels a bit trickier. So this has that more feeling of being able to once again choose your own path, similar to in Lenormand where you have the book, where you have the options of filling in the next chapters, or things are put in place but aren't yet known. So it has more of the strong feeling of you are writing your narrative, or even the fact that there is a narrative that you don't necessarily control, that it's actually in someone else's hands. Next we have the Quivering Mothra. As I said, I don't tend to read a lot of these cards, and unfortunately dyslexia and the writing not being quite being able to read them always has this kind of difficulty, but so this does have a very heavy butterfly theme. They have butterfly wings, There are butterflies around them. And so this kind of has a feeling of maybe a metamorphosis, the death card, without necessarily being too dark about it. It is still a very bright and vibrant card. I'd still consider this something still quite positive, but it's kind of like it does have that feeling of transformation. Let's hope this one I can read. This card is the Barber of Boons. So this feels okay. So this person is in a lot of big dresses and ribbons, and so this feels like you have recently acquired some good luck, be it in general luck, be it karma, or if you're a believer in your spiritual guide, something like that. You have now been given you've now been given a good opportunity, or you've been given a bonus in some way, or even a new perspective or a new tool that's able to be used. This is just an indicator of, hey, you've got this new tool in your toolbox, go use it. So next we have the Heir of Earth. The Heir of Earth, sorry. Not quite sitting there. So kind of like looks like a deer of some description. You've got the scythe here as well, and the planetary symbol and the symbols of the planets and alchemical symbols there. So they're more. So this someone's more of an alchemist, someone's a chemist, someone who likes to study the natural laws, likes to study nature in a very deep way, and someone who's quite educated in the, I guess the correct term would be physical and metaphysical. So next card is the unnamed card. Now I always see this as the person you're doing the reading for, and this has a very kind of powerful imagery to it. It makes me feel that this person is just so basically they are a strong person. They are someone who really pushes for what they need and for what they desire. And so this card is and I thought this card is unnamed because you cannot name this force, this entity, the person you're reading for. You can't name them. This is how they project, how they wish to be seen. Next we have the Martyr of Wounds. And then this kind of has like a Ten of Swords, Hanged Man sort of situation. This person has willingly sacrificed themselves to whatever it is that needed to be done. Whether they did it for the glory or they felt it because it was something natural to do, I would say it could vary depending on the sort of reading you're doing. But I would say that this lion's face here, I feel that this person's happily doing it, and depending on how you're reading it, it could just be for they're doing it to kind of get the attention, which is almost someone you should avoid, to be fair. I've got 4 more left. So next we have the Stitches Queen. So this feels more like the Fates, where they're kind of writing the tapestry and putting things and kind of constructing fate and destiny as they go. That's the sort of feeling I get from this. Once again, this could be read more as a manifestation card, where this is what you want to do, and this is how you would work your way to do it. So you could have this as a good representation for manifestation. Next we have the Tarot Keeper, and a lot of you would probably feel that this covers you. I can name at least a few people, but yeah, so this feels like someone who is a collector and knower of tarot, but also at the same time is also a collector and has a deep interest within them. So basically, this is the card calling you out, if I'm perfectly honest. But yeah, I think that's kind of like the face of like a koala with a sword nose. So you've got a sword nose, a cup there, got a 1 through there, We could decipher as pentacles there. So, yeah, this card does represent those who are really into their tarot. So this deck is calling you out. So next we have the Caretaker. Once again, this feels very much like how the Magician looks in traditional tarot, although they do have the skull for a face. So this could be the case of, once again, another representation of the Death card, in the fact that whatever's being dealt with, maybe this is the entity that brings it to its natural conclusion. So not necessarily death, but still the case of manifesting the end and the conclusion, rather than it happening, quote, naturally. And last we have the Youth of Spring, and it's a very one of the very busy cards as well. Yeah, so this is someone who's obviously enjoying the roses, and the warmth coming back now that winter is done. And so this is, I would probably say this is closer to the Sun card than the Summer card was from earlier. And this is someone who's just enjoying the spring, and so I would say that this is someone who's I would say this is the card where you'd say stop and smell the roses, go and enjoy go outside and enjoy yourself, go out and touch grass. It's not necessarily a lazy day, but it's a card that says you're actually allowed to enjoy yourself. Go and enjoy. So I hope you enjoyed this. Once again, I've not done a review for a while, but I said hopefully I'll be having some more videos again soon. Once again, sorry for the delay. I'm actually in the midst of moving, so this will probably actually be the last time I'll be recording in here. But yes, I hope you enjoyed. Once again, don't forget to like, share and subscribe, and I'll catch you all on the flip side.